Well, good morning and welcome. I was trying to get a YouTube live stream going, and I'm unable to make that work right now. So I'm doing this via Facebook Live, and I want to see if I can figure out a way to save this over to YouTube as well or something. But what I'm about to cover in this episode may actually seem strange, and the title of it is The Bible Actually Agrees with Evolution. And what I mean by that, I was just riding around the other day, and I was thinking, I've been listening to people try to talk about evolution versus creation, and I started thinking, and I'm just going to read just a couple of verses from Genesis. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep. The Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. God saw that the light was good, and He separated the light from darkness. He called the light day, and the darkness He called night. And there was evening, and there was morning, the first day. Now, according to evolutionists, and there's a lot of different versions of how we came to, according to evolutionists, a lot of people say that there was a Big Bang, which even many scientists, including Richard Dawkins, I think his name is Richard Dawkins, and some others, they finally decided that it wasn't just necessarily a Big Bang. In fact, some of these very big atheists, who are still atheists, their idea of evolution, or hi Michael, their idea of evolution or creation now is becoming more where they're seeing that there was, because of because of things, they see that there's possibly some type of actual design to everything, and they're kind of starting to say, hey, that there is a creator of sorts, but they still don't go as far as saying God or a God. But what the point of this video is as I was thinking, based on what evolutionists say, no matter how you want to look at it, the Big Bang, whatever, basically the Bible's saying the same thing, because it says that God created the heavens and the earth. So in the beginning, whether there was nothing or whatever, all of a sudden God created this. So this is the beginning of, if you want to call it, an evolutionary process. He said everything was formless and empty. So and then he starts to do things. He creates the light, which would be a form of evolution. He's taking and he's making but it's a God-created evolution. He's setting the lights in the sky and in the darkness, and then you see how he separates the waters from the land and from the earth and everything else, and then after he does that, he says things like, let the water under the sky be gathered in one place, and let the dry ground appear. And it was so. And then he goes on to say, let the land produce vegetation, seed-bearing plants, trees, and land and fruit of all kinds, and so on. The land produces these things, but it's a kind of a beginning. So there's nothing, and then he starts these things rolling. He starts life rolling, and he puts different types of life in different places. And then if we watch that and notice it, what's cool, see, he did basically start with the vegetation. He started with water life. He started with some land creatures, and then after he did all that, then he creates man. So if we look at it like that, we can see where even the evolutionists are going to get their ideas, because in the process that God used to get there, it's starting from one point. It's not like he created everything instantly. He starts at one point and develops it into what it is. Now, he's not changing species, he's not doing anything like that, the way evolution talks about it, but you can see how the process is in line with a type of evolution, a godly evolution. I see, Michael, you said you just had the same discussion a few days ago. Cool. It's interesting when you start to look at it like that. But what I find even more interesting is if you start going and checking out some videos of other people, evolutionists, serious evolutionists, and serious scientists now, more and more of them are leaning to a type of creation rather than just a happenstance. And, oh, hi, Brother Eric. Yeah, they created them with the abilities of adaptation. Obviously, they have the abilities to adapt, but they don't actually evolve into other species. Which, oh, excuse me. Which is why I think evolution had got its kind of ground because of adaptation. Evolution kind of got its ground. You could see where certain things had changed. And as Michael says, we're still evolving in many ways, but we're evolving in our species. But what I was trying to get to, what the scientists are saying, so many of them now, like I said, Richard Dawkins, who is like the ultimate atheist, and I wish I could remember some of the other names, I should take better notes. But these big-time atheists are starting to see or say that it's that only because of intelligence, you have to admit that there is an intelligence behind the whole system, the solar system, our DNA, everything. There's an intelligent design behind it. And what I think is funny is even though you'll see them going to the point of saying that, they still will not go as far as saying it's God. They've said things like an intelligent, I forget. Like I said, I need to take better notes, but they'll say like an intelligent being or something like that, but they won't go and call it God, which I don't know how you can have the one without the other that way. But what I think is cool is people always want to say that science disproves God, but in reality, science proves God, and it also proves that God is science. God is what created the science that we live by. We have gravity, right? That gravity holds us to the ground. Well, God created that gravity for the purpose of doing that, and gravity comes from scientific, whatever you want to call it. It's just amazing. And I'm going to start this series, and I want to keep them all pretty short because I don't want to bore people. But I want to start this series of looking into the Bible from probably both a worldly form as well as a biblical form, and show where they can coincide, where they can coexist. Because God is who created everything, and so therefore it fits into everything. Now, I understand why, I got friends who are atheists that tell me, how can you be so dumb with all the new technology and all the new advances? How can you be so dumb as to believe it was a God? Well, like I said, when I look into science, I tell them, I'm looking into science, and science is proving my God. And so I think it's amazing. And like I say, I don't want this to go on real long. Only have 2 people viewing, but that's cool. It's a start, and I'm hoping to grow this channel as well as some of the other things that I'm doing. Namaste, Michael. That's a little bit on the other side of my of my things, but that's cool. You're cool. I've always enjoyed speaking with you. And hopefully maybe you can join me in some conversations on here. One day I'd like to figure out how to do some of these things and actually have discussions, you know, with like 2-3 people or a panel of people, and see if we can't bring some folks in from all walks. I mean, I'd like to have atheists, as long as we can discuss it without losing our tempers. I'd like to have you know, creationists. I'd like to have scientists, you know, because the best way for us to grow is to grow and learn together. But now that I started this out with my idea of evolution is biblical, maybe it will draw some views and draw some comments. I do want to leave you guys with this. I had started another channel. I'm going to do multiple channels. I just don't know how to put them on different places. I'd like to have them in different places so you could find, if you're going to look at my biblical content there, and then I have one called My Opinion Doesn't Matter on YouTube, and I'd like that someplace else. That one's drawn so many hate, well, I say so many, 3 people have basically hated on me for my comments, which I kind of figured that they would. But if you find my YouTube channel, I'd like anybody who sees this, please look at that video as well. My Opinion Doesn't Matter. And there'll be different titles behind it. The last one I did is called General Neutral BS. And like I said, most people don't like it, but that's cool. I'm good with that. Yes, FaceTime or Skype might work. That might be a good idea. So if I can get some folks that want to go with me in a conversation, we'll try to set up a time and a date where we can do that. Yes, haters gonna hate. That's pretty common. But until the next time, remember me, Art Clemmy. For those of you that don't know me, I pastored a small church for 10 years. Was not a great pastor. Was not able to grow a massive church. But I try to stay honest. I try to stay true to God's word. Do I make mistakes? Yes, I do. But one thing I want you to know, everyone out there, I love each and every one of you. I don't care where you come from. I don't care what you believe. I love you, and I pray for you, and I want us to be able to get together and have conversations. I want us to get together and grow together. Until the next time, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May He make His face shine on you and be gracious to you. May He look on you with favor and give you peace.